Hello, my name is Suzanne Verton and I'm the founder of Discover Change, and we're all about sharing tips, strategies and inspiration that can help you to make a positive difference. And today I'm here with Dee Manning. Hi Dee, how are you doing?
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here today. What we'll be discussing is working with the community, and specifically including Dee sharing some tips for promoting and running community activities and projects. Now, Dee here has very extensive experience. She's been wearing many hats, and you've worked with a lot of different types of groups and individuals and organizations. So it's going to be really good if you could share some of these experiences and some of your journey, but also some of these useful tips with other volunteers and community leaders who are out there as well wanting to make this difference. So Dee, maybe you could just get started by actually describing what is it that you do, and what is your experience in running community groups and activities?
Um, well, my role, I wear many hats. So I can be a networker, facilitator, negotiator, planner, organizer, handholder, counselor. You know, there's
You
so
name
many
it.
hats that you have to wear. It's and that's the beauty of the job. You have to be very flexible, very adaptable, have lots of patience, be able to think quickly on your feet. As a facilitator, having to calm, sometimes some very volatile situations down. So you need a multitude of skills, to do this job, and you've got to care. You've got to care about the people in the communities that you're working. You've got to, think about the environments where people are living and how that affects, their well-being, their social inclusion, their politically, with local authority changes and, in terms of money and funding and services that are available to them. So it's having all the insight of all the partners, stakeholders, statutory, voluntary organisations that can support the communities that you're working with, and get knowledge and resources from these external partners to support communities.
Wow, that's a lot of different things you do then. So in that sense, you're almost, like you mentioned there a couple of times, facilitator. So facilitator of what types of projects exactly? So could you maybe give a couple of examples? I know you worked with in a lot of different kind of areas and sectors, but maybe what's the majority of the time that you spend doing?
Well, a lot of it's identifying which organisation or school or community group wants to engage in some form of activity, and then it's making a plan with them, then introducing them to other team members that are then going to start to execute whichever role they need to do to be able to deliver that service. And then it's managing all that, because when you start to delegate work out, then that person could have other activities that they've got going. So you have to manage it. You have to check in with them people and, can you deliver this? Have you got this resource? Have you accessed it yet? Have you got funding for it? Have you got it? When can it be delivered? Have you done the risk assessment? Have you got your DBS check? So it's asking all these questions and checking, having a timeline, having a plan, having a tick box, to make sure that all the resources that you need for each person that you delegated to is in place and it's done. And if it isn't done, well, why isn't it done? How are you going to resolve it? When are you going to resolve it? I need to know within the next 24 hours or 48 hours, because if you haven't resolved it, then we need a plan B or a plan C or a plan D.
And that's where the flexibility comes in, I take. Yeah, all plan Z. Yeah, and I think that's very good there what you shared. Obviously, clearly very busy role. So you're almost like facilitating, making sure that all of these community activities are happening and are communicated properly. And that's, I think, such an important part in what you do. You mentioned there the keyword, probably stakeholders, is making sure that you understand what the school needs, what the children need, what the parents need, what the organization, what you need. So there's a lot of people involved when it comes to organizing these community activities.